Okay, this is the Planning Commission meeting for September 28, 2016. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers,
Here.
Mayor,
Here.
Mr. Wolke,
Here.
Mr. Titterington, Mr. McGarry,
Here.
Mrs. Mahan, Mr. Forrest.
Here. Okay, we have
Five members are present.
Okay. We have the minutes of our September 14th meeting in front of us. They have been disseminated in advance. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes?
Make a motion the minutes be approved.
Second.
There's a motion, second. Any further, no discussion necessary. Please call the roll.
We don't usually.
All those in favor, signify by
Yes.
saying aye. Opposed? They stand approved. First matter to come before the commission then is the vacation of the 10-foot wide alley located on the west side, West Main Street, and running off of Cherry Street. The staff have a report.
I think I'm presenting it today.
Okay.
Jill Rhodes, City Engineer.
What's your name, please?
Jill Rhodes, City Engineer, 100 South Market Street.
Thank you very much.
So this was actually a vacation that was requested by the adjacent property owners. And we do have the, all of the signatures by the adjacent property owners. It includes, it's a 10-foot wide alley. It includes or is adjacent to in-lots 289, 282, 283, 284, 5, 6, and 7. It's 10 foot wide. It doesn't go the whole length between West Cherry, or sorry, between South Cherry and South Plum. There are no city-owned utilities, but it is just a reiteration that any existing easements that exist will remain for any other utilities. They've signed the petition, and the next step would be to follow the ORC with the vacation and readings with council.
Any
So-
questions of Jill? I have one.
Okay.
I didn't see, and I might have missed it, but I didn't see the consent and approval of the owner 112 Main Street Limited that is serviced by that.
Well, there is not, I would agree that it is, they are not, they did not sign off, but there is no access, there's no door, there's nothing that they, like, that's a wall.
It's still
So,
within that area, and it could be an access to that alley. And they could knock a hole in it. That alley, I'm familiar with the alley, not that I frequent alleys in the city of Troy, but that alley, if I recall correctly, and that last building is the Old Flash Restaurant. And I think they used to have their dumpster back in there, and they would access that alley to get the dumpster. Am I not correct? Nobody knows.
I know
Flash.
at one time that they kept trash cans back in that
Right.
area. I'm not sure that an actual trash truck was able to get down the alley, but I know that they did keep, different businesses kept their trash cans back there.
And if this alley is vacated, then how do those people have access out their back door then to get to Cherry Street?
the agreement with Falker and all the residents, they have a separate agreement on
Let me
how.
see it. Where is it?
I didn't ask for that.
Oh.
I mean, they've all signed off on it knowing that the alley would be vacated, that they would own part of the alley, and whether it be verbal or otherwise, that they've worked it out how access will be granted.
Well, I don't mind vacating alleys, for Pete's sakes. I don't want the city to have to maintain them. If they're alleys to nowhere, that's great. But I would like to see 112 Main Street Limited sign off on this as well, as being a prospective purchaser or prospective owner that is impacted by this alley vacation. And if you say that there's an agreement between these property owners as to access to and from Cherry Street for their property, I think that would be part of the application process that we can consider. Otherwise, if we vacate this alley, we're cutting off the rear access to these other lots to Cherry Street. Or am I missing something?
Right now, there's already a gate on the alley that is actually, I'm not even sure who operates the gate.
To my understanding from my previous position with the city as parking, Folker's office has had a key and a lock to that gate for some time.
Well, if it's a public alley, they're not entitled to lock it off. All right.
I guess my whole point is, I don't feel like it's really used for a public alley. I do understand that you're talking about access to the other properties, but we aren't creating this alley request. They are creating it. They are adjacent property owners. I will work on getting 112. I'll talk to Folker about getting 112 West Main. I guess I feel like if they're requesting it and they're saying they'll work out the access, I don't know that the city should care. We don't use it as public alley at any point right now. And in fact, one of the reasons that we are looking at vacating this is also because it is used for each of these property owners however they wish. For example, their dumpsters are in the alley. You know, one of the things, I mean, and that's not really allowed. So adjacent to the alley is acceptable to store your dumpster so that the alley can be open for free and public use. But storing in the alley is private property use as well, you know. So it's being used. I think also one of the properties is using it as part of their patio. So if we maintain it, I guess then we take a step back, or if we continue to keep it as public alley, access way, my opinion is then we would treat it as a public alley and access way and begin to request property owners to vacate the alley with their private property.
As I indicated, I'm all for vacating alleys because I don't want the city to have to maintain those if they're not being used. I think that's entirely appropriate. Your point's well taken about the consent given by the other owners to the alley vacation. And the only owner, though, that I see is affected here is also the adjacent property owner at 112 Main Street Limited. So,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was consideration. One is if I heard Dwayne, the law firm is using that with the gate locked anyway.
Yeah, they've had their
How
trash
long?
toters there. I mean, I've been with the city going on 10 years and they've been there
Okay.
as long as I've been here.
So it's already been, if there was any conflict, they've resolved that conflict because they've been
And even if there
basically
was going to be
gatekeepers.
access in or out, which I do understand the idea of having each and every one of those property owners' signatures as Mr. Cappers has indicated. But the location that's using the alley as a patio basically off of their business would preclude any type of traffic in and out of there to further, you know,
Okay.
beyond that to the west to where the wall would end. You can't get through there anyway.
Well, that was my one I'm considering. The second one is, remember, couldn't we not, we're making a recommendation to council. Council will make the final decision for vacation, or go on a vacation, no, just. So could we make a notation in the motion?
Conditioned upon.
Yeah, like we've done that before?
Conditioned upon the consent and approval of the owner at 112 Main Street Limited? Is that what you're
Yeah,
doing?
and I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I just want to note that I know from personal experience that the Flash Restaurant, when it was there, the Folker's office went ahead and used that back door into the Flash Restaurant to gain through this alley to gain access.
Okay.
Lunch.
Yeah, that much.
Yeah, you know better than that.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll. This is a recommendation to council. to
But it-
approve.
Correct.
But the recommendation does not go forward until we,
It's conditioned upon receipt of consent and approval by the
No, I'm
owners of
confused.
112 Main Street Limited.
You say it does, this recommendation does not go forward?
I don't
Until-
send it on to council until
Until that's
the
received.
condition is met.
Okay.
And Joe, I heard you say you would follow up on
Yep,
that, right?
yep.
That's what I was hearing.
Most certainly.
So that's why I made that motion.
Please call the roll.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. McGarry,
Yes.
Mr. Force,
Yes.
Mr. Cappers.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes.
Next matter on the agenda is the vacation of a 20-foot wide alley located west of Cherry Street and running between West Main Street and West Water Street. Jill, are you on tap for that one also?
I am.
Go right ahead.
So in your packet, I do believe you have, you should have either an aerial or a drawing, I forget
There it
which
is.
okay.
Nice aerial.
Great. So this is actually the alley that is used for the Miami County Commissioners, the safety building, their parking lot. It runs essentially right in between their parking lot, or right down the middle of their parking lot. It is a part of their parking lot for all intents and purposes. And so the city is recommending or requesting that this alley be vacated. There is existing stormwater utilities there, and I do believe there's some electrical poles there. So again, all existing utilities will maintain. I kind of mentioned that the commissioners have not requested this. The city, again, is just periodically and routinely going through our alleys and saying, what do we not use, what's really being privately used, even though it is a commissioner's parking lot, but if it was a privately owned company, it'd be privately used and not really for the greater good of public access from the city standpoint of what an alley is used for. So we are requesting, now this one is not based on a petition, so there will be notification to the adjacent property owners. All of the property owners along this entire alley are Miami County commissioners.
The only impact that I see on this one is that if we have a one-way street down on the other end of the courthouse, and if somebody wanted to go ahead and come down east on Water Street and turn right, they would still have to go all the way down to Cherry Street to turn right. And I've seen a number of automobiles then cut through between the courthouse, courthouse.
Okay.
And if this is not a thoroughfare, which if we vacate the alley, it would not become a thoroughfare, they couldn't do that. All that being said, I'm still okay with it because they still have Cherry Street. But I thought maybe I should mention the possible impact that I see. Do you see any other negative impact?
I guess I'm not fully understanding you're talking Short Street, the one-way street of Short Street.
Right.
Okay. I don't see any negative impact. It'll actually, reduce the maintenance, from the city's expense. And it's not really just to shift it to the county. The more major point is that they're using it as their parking lot. It's really not for public thoroughfare, but you are correct in that, a person periodically may drive through there, as they may Shell gas station on West Main. It's not a public thoroughfare. We shouldn't make it a public alley just because a periodic person drives through there, but I don't see any other negative impact.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor?
Well, I'm just thinking, just for my own clarification, because I don't have any problem with it either. That's my personal opinion because it's used by county sheriff and the safety building and the Masonic Temple. But it's kind of big. Who maintains that in the winter? Who shovels the snow?
The county. Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear. That's what I thought. And
They paved it.
So-
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question, and maybe it's just my eyes, but in the bottom right-hand side of the alley, you've got yellow print on a white background.
Okay.
Could you tell me what that says?
Let me see this. So it says Board of County, Main Street, Board of County Commissioners of Miami County, 107 Main Street, Troy Masonic Temple Lodge. Now, so it's actually talking to two different lots. There, right along the edge of the building is a property line. So the Masonic Temple owns the corner lot, the 107 West Main, and then there's a narrow strip essentially where the cars are parked that is actually owned by the county commissioners. So we would be vacating to the county commissioners. Does that?
Okay, so essentially, was that a lot at one point that the county commissioners acquired? Okay.
This is where the jail used to sit,
Okay.
the old pre-war soldiers.
Okay, so the county commissioners all the reversion would go to the county commissioners?
Most certainly, yes. If it was not that case, I don't know that we would be requesting vacation.
Okay.
Any other discussion? We're being asked to make a recommendation to council. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation to council
To approve?
to vacate
To vacate.
the alley.
Okay, there's a motion to approve vacation.
Second.
Recommendation. Mr. McGarry seconds. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. McGarry,
Yes.
Mr. Forrest,
Yes.
Mr. Cappers.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
It's approved.
Approved.
Yes.
Next matter on the agenda is the infamous other. Staff have anything else they want to discuss?
Nothing today, thank you.
Do the commissioners have anything else they want to discuss? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So move.
Mr. Corson moved, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.